Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is a man of Manetheren, and God help me. I'm reviewing episode 3. What a train wreck of an episode. Not as bad as episode 2, but on the whole, this show is I, I'm amazed at how you can go from go on a descent from episode 8 of season 1, but tell you what, oh, ye of little faith, this show can do it. Hurrah! Okay, so let's get on with the show. All right, so it begins. They're going to send Nincompoop through the trials, through the arches. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I hate this shit. So she's like, what are they? And the stupid Aes Sedai sit there and tell her, it's a Terangrill. We don't know we don't know what they are or whatever, but apparently women only could make these things way back in the day, back when Aes Sedai were worth their salt in anything. Um, but at the same time, in giving the explanation of what they are and how they don't know how they work and all that, they still don't explain what a terangrial is. So great job in giving a good definition of, or not giving, right, a good definition of a term that Robert Jordan invented, like Taviran. So, unless you've read the books, you have no idea what these terms are, what these things really serve a purpose for. Man, and two of the arches are broken, and it doesn't matter that they're broken. They cast their weaves into these arches, and Nynaeve is still able to walk through even the two broken ones, and it's like, why? It makes no sense in an operational point of view. But even then, if they can just create the finished parts of the terangrial that they don't know how they operate with their magic power, then why even bother with the arches? Why not just create them out of the thin air? Why do they have to be so ornate? I mean, goodness, they're simple things in the books. I mean, if you look at the graphic novel for the new spring, Moiraine walks through simple silver rings during her trial. So, I mean, it's just stupid. The show is so, so, so stupid. So the first trial comes in, and Nincompoop's a little girl, and she's with her daddy. They're out in the fields, picking herbs and doing all sorts of wonderful things. Isn't it just great? Well, then they get assaulted by some raiders. Dad's in trouble, and Nynaeve's in trouble, and Nynaeve gets pinned down. And keeping in mind that she's a little girl in this because it's about something in the past, which the show doesn't explain, she's pinned down and has the weight of a man on her trying to drive a blade through her chest. And somehow she's able to prevent him from doing that. Sorry, no, not going to happen. Nope. Add to the fact that in this trial, Nynaeve is actually a smaller girl. So even more, nope, she's dead. So trial over, she fails. Oh, but if only. In any case, Deus Ex Mommy comes around and shoots a bow because she's the warrior of the family and saves the day. They retreat to the house where they lock Nynaeve downstairs in the basement. Daddy takes her down there before he goes up to be defended by Mommy in the battle and tells her to stay put. They die. All sorts of emotions going on. I'm so sad. Nynaeve goes back through the arches. Oh no. You just feel real brokenhearted for her, said nobody ever. So they wash her clean, do all this kind of stuff. The procedural stuff, they do all right with that. I mean, that's low hanging fruit. just because it's there doesn't mean they're really being faithful to the books. But she goes through the second arch, which is the other broken arch. And she's in a Two Rivers bed, and she gets up and she sees everybody has a fever, and there's Tam. And Tam says the wisdom can't heal it. And she looks up, and who's the wisdom there? It's not the dark friend from Terran Ferry, or not Terran Ferry, but I can't remember the town name. It's not the dark friend that had come in. No, it's Matt Cawthon's mom. So let's continue to denigrate that family. That's great. That's fantastic. And she blames it all on Nynaeve because nincompoop, you left, and I'm just doing the best that I can, but it's your fault. You left. So then nincompoop goes over to try and heal Tam. Well, that's not going to happen because why? Why should it happen? Why should we expect Nynaeve to be able to do what she has seen occur from the last episode with the accepted healing breakbone fever? There's no reasonable expectation that we should see her succeed at, and there's no even reasonable expectation for her as a character to even attempt it. What she should be doing as the village wisdom, and as what Nynaeve would have done, was to find herbs to remedy the situation. That would have been true to character, but nope. In any case, Tam tells her it's okay, and then asks how Rand's doing. She lies and says he's okay, and then he says, "Thank you for keeping him safe." Are you kidding me? Why, Tam, would you ever think that your son, whom you have raised to be an adult in this world, is incapable of taking care of himself at this point? And the answer is you wouldn't think that he's not capable because he's an adult, because you've raised him. And the way that families were raised in this point in time is that they could be self-sufficient by the time they were 13, 14, 15 years old. So it's nonsense. In any case, I'm done with this trial. Nynaeve disappoints Tam, apparently. She goes through the arches, comes back in. She's washed, she's panicking, yada, yada, yada. Now going for the third trial. And we have this acid trip thing that's kind of crazy and pointless. And then she comes right back through the arch. And it's a fake out. And I wasn't sure, to be honest. Um, there were enough things in there where I was like, nah, no, it wasn't real. At the same time, it was kind of like I would freaking love it if they did it this way, just because why not? you know, it would have it would have just been par for the course. But so they wash her clean, and then they go through this whole, little the three of them, this whole little, not ceremony, but pomp and circumstance speech crap. You know, telling her she has now been accepted, and she's like, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Okay, that does it. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And so she goes up to a room, packs her stuff. Egwene comes in, tells her, "I need you, Nynaeve." And Nynaeve says, "No, I came here to help you. And, oh, you'll be fine because you're powerful." "No, I need you." "No, it's okay. I'm going to leave." And then she leaves, and she's on her horseback just outside of Tar Valon. She gets to the woods, and all of a sudden, Deus Ex Machina Lan arrives. And he's there looking stoic and studly. Which at this point, guaranteed, with how he's been treated the past two episodes, that's not the one. This is a fake out at this point. Yeah, but they get off their horses and they run to each other, and you can just hear that orchestral theme song. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, as they run into each other's arms. Oh, I hate this show so much. Oh, man. Anyway, he says, I could go with you if you'd have me. And she's like, what about Moiraine? And he just looks at her, doesn't say anything, like he's sad or something. It's like, oh, here's sad puppy Rand. Now, they don't have him say anything because if they said that he rejected her, well, there's no way for that to work out in this scene because it's all a fake out. And there's no way Nynaeve would have known that Moiraine was a complete and utter bitch to him and told him to go away and that he got rejected. So they just don't have him say anything to kind of keep this fake out going until you hear that whisper, there's but one, the way back comes but once. Except she doesn't really hear it. She doesn't see the gate. So she misses her way back. And oh man, it would have been so great if we didn't have fake nincompoop in this show ever again. But we know that's not true. Oh man. So the on the other side of the arch, it powers down because someone didn't pay the electric bill, and the other two Aes Sedai get mad at Leandrin because it's her fault nincompoop didn't come out, and so she wasn't ready, and drama, and then Leandrin throws the pot because drama, and oh my goodness. Oh man. All right, so we're done with this. This is the whole first quarter of the show. Now we cut to Perrin, and they're all at this approaching, 300 scene, eh, and and at the bottom of the stairs on this stupid throne thing that they're carrying around, they see I see this little spike thing that's there. And it's so ugly looking. But you're just kind of like, okay, that looks dumb. And there's only one purpose for it. We find that out very soon. So then Suroth, who's at the top of the stairs in this big old stupid beehive mask thing that can double as an Olive Garden cheese grater when you get the salad, she whips her fingernails that are 5 feet long because that's a thing, apparently. But that signals uh, this Damani to come out and start pointing her finger at three other girls or women, and then the soldiers take them, and that's kind of that. But they don't explain why they're taken. And we know, and they may explain this later in the show, but I'm going to piss on it for right now because it's like in the books you would know they're taken because they they're able to detect that they can draw magic. Now, again, how in the show do other women know that other women can channel? And it's not really explained, as I recall. Maybe they did it when Moiraine was talking with Eggy in the first season. But, why not? What the hell? So they end up taking three girls. In the middle, there's all this other fingernail whipping going on, and the chick with the funky face mask next to Suroth starts talking about how you need to take oaths and stuff, and you've forgotten your history. Um, so, okay. And so now you need to take the oaths, and uh, who will take the oath? And this soldier takes off her helmet so she no longer looks like a Koopa Troopa from the original Mario movie. And she points to Uno and says, this one. And you initially think maybe it's because she saw the knife, but the angle would not have she wouldn't have been able to see the Uno's knife. So that's not it. It's just because maybe she sees Uno being a malcontent and he could be a prime one to be made an example of. Well, good. This is great. Here's your second death scene, Uno, for the Wheel of Time. And I pray to God you don't come back. Because this is bad. Um, he gets all uppity with Suroth, looks at her directly, which she's not supposed to, and then spits on the staircase. And Suroth gives the hand signals to have them place Uno's head through a spike that's sitting at the base of the steps. And then, of course, uh, Ingtar and Perrin, they wuss out of coming to any sort of defense, standing up against them, because, that's just the way that it is. And the whole time, so Suroth, even though she spoke at the very end of the last episode, which Ishi responded to, her hand signals prompting the other lady to speak prompts like a public kind of speaking to not be done by Suroth. And then she so dramatically goes, "All will bow." Great. What's it is such stupid script writing. In stupid direction to sit there and say it like that. Like the show is beyond the pale. Oh, okay. So thankfully that scene ends, and now we get to the scene with Rand and Logain that was revealed in uh, a scene reveal before the season opened, and this is such overacted nonsense. Rand, his screen time is filled up by just him standing there and listening to people talk at him. And I'm not saying talk to him. I'm saying he is there as a prop for people to sit there and look at and deliver their lines. And then Logain is acting all crazy-ish and demands that Rand ask him what he wants to ask him, and giving him some weird cockeyed, side-eyed looks that just, it's so bad. The acting is just so bad. I mean, two of the worst actors so far this season, Logain and Alana, and then everybody else as well. It's just an abysmal performance. And then Rand looks at him and says, "I don't know what you're talking about." And it's like, okay, Rand, dummy, at the end of the previous episode, you walked into his area and said, "Hello, I'm your new orderly. I think you and I are going to find out we have a lot in common." And then the show ends, went to credits, right? So why would you asking that or making that statement think that makes any sense whatsoever? Logain, at that point, after the end of that last episode, should be like, "Oh, well, what do you want to ask to find out if we have a lot in common?" That's logical. But nope, Rand is retarded. And so's this scene. I'm done with it. Okay. Oh, well, and he tells him, "I want some Gildan red wine." Oh, fuck. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. All right, so now we're going through the Foregate area, Rand heading back to be comforted by Celine in what is surprisingly not including any sex. I'm shocked about that. But we get this nod for this from this speech from this gleeman about the hunt for the horn of Valir, and little poems spoken about it. Oh, isn't that great? They alluded to it. And once again, the theme of this show is to allude to things in the books without explaining them. The hunt for the horn of Valir is not explained in any way whatsoever. Fantastic. And you think you get some sort of explanation later in the party, but that's that's a fake. That's fake out stuff too. In any case, so what's really surprising about this is that Rand says he's never heard of the Horn of Valir. So, all right, break that lore even further, show. Way to go. So, anyway, done with this scene. They get up and go so that they can find Rand a coat so they can go and get that Gildan red because apparently it's getting really out of control for Rand for some reason. All right, so we cut back to the White Tower. Nincompoop's not in her room. Eggy really wants to talk to her because she has needs, which I guarantee you, no matter what, even if they had Nincompoop in her room, it would have been completely selfish needs from Eggy because her thoughts are even a lot more self-centered than Elaine Tracon's thoughts are. So that's saying something. Shiriam, however, informs her that she's not coming back, that she is quote unquote dead. Um, and then she tries to comfort Elaine. That doesn't work. She just leaves. Shiriam leaves. And then Elaine tries to say something. And of course, outside of the fact that she's crying, so there's already drama going on, she then starts yelling at Elaine because apparently it's not enough to cry to show your emotion. Now you have to have this lash out to create this drama, which will be explained off in the next episode with a half-hearted apology of if it's even mentioned. It's dumb. Oh, this isn't how drama works, show. It really isn't. Oh, so now we cut back to Matt's cell, and there's Leandrin just standing there as Matt sleeps. He wakes up, and she says, "Well, we lost a sister today." Bullshit. Didn't lose a sister. Nincompoop in the show wasn't even raised to accepted at this point. So you didn't even lose an accepted. To be called a sister, you have to be raised to the shawl. So get your terminology right. And then she says, I respected her. No, you didn't. And I don't care how much effort show that you put into showing that in the last episode. No one bought it. So quit lying, TV show. Man, I can't get through this quick enough. But then she says, well, door's open, you can leave. Matt gets mad at her because reasons, why have you been keeping me here for 5 months? Whatever. But she says, well, Egwene is here. She really needs a friend, so you can go and comfort her and whatever. But as she's leaving, with Matt getting upset at her, she actually calls him an insidious coward. And holy shit, the show is right for the first time. That's actually a proper characterization of Matt that they've done to him in the show. An insidious coward, and he proves it later. Anyway, next scene, because I'm tired of it. Leandrin's sitting there at the Steppen Memorial lava fountain, and she's there melting the ring that they were going to give to Nincompoop. And again, Why all this pomp and circumstance for someone who is not a sister, not even accepted? I mean, this show is so unreal. They want to pump these girls up to a height that they aren't even at, and they continue to do this through this episode. It's not even done with that crap. But then Egwene, Eggy, Miss Big for her britches, comes in with all of her stupid bravado and confronts Leandrin, which, she's basically calling Leandrin out for her BS, just like I was calling Leandrin out for her BS. But, but Eggy says, I'm not done with you, blocks the door with fire, because apparently she can do that, but she can't Brita filter water. Yes, she can heal the dead, accidentally, but, you know, come on. Intentional weaving is not her forte. Um, and Leandrin backs her right to the edge. Whatever. Veiled threats. I can't remember. I'm done. My brain's broken at this moment. Thank God I have notes. And then she's walking away. Gwen looks at her and says, "You have no idea what I'm capable of." Like, shut up, bitch. I mean, seriously. You know, with what you have shown in the tower, which is nothing outside of being really good at scraping Alana's sex mess off the floor, who the hell are you? That's the response Leandrin should have been. You know, I don't care what you did at Faldara. You know, no one cares. You haven't done anything for 5 months. Oh man. Then we get to the fetch quest, the game of houses fetch quest in Carrion proper, wherever. I don't know. You have nobles in there, and they pass a card to Rand, and he throws it in the little fire. Oh, look, we're paying homage again to the Great Hunt book. Yay! Shut up, show. Uh, but we find out that in Rafe Judkins' version of Randland in Carian, they only use the Great Hunt so that they can get rid of the poor in the Foregate. Less mouths to feed. So it's all this big political stunt. And because Rand's never heard of it, he's like, hey, I believe this because I'm an ignorant son of a bitch. So well, that's great. Um, Celine goes off. She finds the bottle of red, comes back to Rand, and says, look what I found. Which to Rand's been like, the bottle of Gilded red that you walked away to go get? What else would it be? You know, I mean, so dumb. He leaves her, so that upsets her. But he leaves her to go deliver the bottle to Logain, and we cut to that scene. And oh man, what another train wreck this is! Logain's like, "Wow, that was quick. You must have been desperate." Listen, he's sleeping with Celine. He's definitely desperate. Oh, yeah. But then Logain does, and they're trying to do this to kind of convince the viewer that Logain is crazy. Okay, I get why they're doing this. It's stupid because he sits there and he opens this bottle and he smells it and he's taking all this joyous emotion that out of that smell. They're like, oh man, he's going to really appreciate this. And so he dumps out his glass, and as he's telling Rand that you can't control the power as a man, he starts pouring the Galdin Red into a glass and then just keeps on pouring and keeps on pouring and spills it all out of the bottle into the glass and it overflows and he throws the bottle because he's mad and stuff. And he wants Rand to get him out of there because he thinks he's still the Dragon Reborn. Um, and and that the madness in his mind is a lie that's made up by the Aes Sedai so that they could control man. So it's not the patriarchy, it's the matriarchy. How about that? Man, how boy, that's such clever script writing. So clever. Um, but in any case, Rand just gets sick of the discussion and leaves, saying it was a mistake. The show is a mistake. I think that's what he was referring to, not being there with Logain, but the show's a mistake. Then we see Matt. Here's crying. He sees Egwene crying, stands in an opening where Egwene, all she has to do is look up and see him, and then he just turns around and leaves, proving once again he is insidious. He is an insidious coward, as Leandrin said. So again, every opportunity they get to piss on Matt as a character, they're going to do. So there is that. I'm over 30 minutes. This is crazy. I can't get through the show quick enough. So he goes back to the cell. Gets Min out. Min's like, "Come on, come on." He's like, "I can't. I can't quit this place. I've been in here for so long. I don't know how to make it on the outside." And she's like, "All right, peace. I'm leaving." And he's like, "Okay, never mind," and follows her out the door. I mean, this is seriously what's happening. It's such a joke. And we cut back to Perrin. He's in a cart, chained up, and there's Ishi just staring at him. Hello, boy. Anyway, goodness. And this is where we have that line that the wolf in you is my wolf, basically, or something like that. It's. Oh no, the more wolf you become, the more you are mine. Something like that. And then stealing a line from Star Wars, as it was pointed out to me yesterday evening on the Unhype. I'll watch your career with great interest. Just so dumb. Oh man. So then Elias busts in to the cart and he's all covered in blood. And so we may have Werewolf Elias, which we may end up seeing. Um, they probably won't show Werewolf Elias or Werewolf Perrin because that would require CG. So, in any case, he frees Perrin, gets him outside of the cart. He's like, "There, follow him." And there's a dog. It's not a wolf, it's a dog, just like in last season. But, so Perrin's like, "Well, come on." He's like, "No, you go, follow Poochie." And so Perrin joins the Paw Patrol and they go off to fight crime. Then we cut back to Min and Matt, and she has to go off and get something. And in the process of getting something, she intentionally runs into Leandrin, and so they're like, "You know where to go?" And Min's like, "Yeah." And she says, "Now remember, if you succeed, Moiraine won't have anything on either of us again." So now they're painting Moiraine even more as an evil character, which is fine with this show because this version of Moiraine, she is the main antagonist. She is Ishi's got nothing on her and how nasty she is. But it's just amazing how they continue to denigrate these characters from what they are in the books. Then we have a scene, it cuts back to Rand. He gets back to his place, and Celine's there, and she's mad at him. "Don't you ever leave me alone with those people again. Oh, they were the worst." And then they have sex because I'm This is amazing to me. This is filth. So Rand rails her with the power once, and and circling around him, and she's like, "Oh, it's whatever." Then he wakes up, and then the power is still kind of consuming, so it gets released, and he burns down her one hut inn. And then she's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm dangerous or whatever." It just, it's so dumb. That scene was pointless outside of the fact that it's showing that he's losing control of this power, which so far this season, actually, that's all that they've shown, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to watching more of this. Then it cuts to our final set of scenes. Eggy is at the gates. She's trying to cast into the gate to open it up so Egwene can pop back through, because that's how it works, apparently. No, this is just Egwene's arrogance. She is so completely stupid and arrogant that she thinks that she can be more powerful than all the other Aes Sedai that takes multiple Aes Sedai to open the gates. And she thinks that she can be the one to do this and find out how it operates and all that stuff, so that she can find the pocket of the door that Nincompoop walked into, so she can go get her. This is how the show has seriously set this dumb bitch up. And then Elaine comes in and says, "You can't do that." And she's like, "I must." And she's like, "You can't. So many people have tried before." Really? Are you serious? I call shenanigans on that. And then she sits there and calms Nynaeve, or calms Egwene down by saying, "I heard what happened. I heard about the Trolloc attack in the Two Rivers, and how you lost so many people, including a young wisdom. But that wisdom didn't really die. She came and helped you out." So apparently that's the story that's gone out, is that Nynaeve died. Okay. So, which means that when Nynaeve killed that Trolloc, right? When she killed that Trolloc in the pool, then she got out of there and went directly to go find everybody, all the other four, without knowing that the other four had left the village, right? That's how that story would progress if it was believable. But then the town already knew she left, right? I mean, this is how it's constantly working in this stupid show. They can't tell their story straight. It gets all confused and muddled if you actually sit there and try and plot this out. But they'll throw anything out there as long as it makes it sound just emotionally gripping. Like, oh, it's told that she died, but she didn't die. She came here. She came here for you. Stop it. Such horse crap. Then we cut to the final set of scenes with the show, and it's the third trial, the real third trial, and Nynaeve's got a daughter with Lan, and Perrin's there, and Uncle Matt shows up, and they're all just having a great time. Matt had made his niece, or Perrin made his niece, a little sword out of wood, because even though he's supposedly a blacksmith and hasn't touched a hammer at all in this season or in last season, you know, right? You can't have him even make a metal sword for your dream, nincompoop. The show fails in every avenue, to be honest and true. I fucking hate it. Well, so then they get attacked by Trollocs, and everybody dies. Woohoo! Yay! Don't forget to kill Nynaeve. But nope, they forgot to kill Nynaeve. They're approaching, and then all of a sudden, the door comes back, and she's able to go through it, and she carries her daughter through, who becomes this blood stain on her undergarments as she goes through. And so then she's crying, and then Egwene's there because she and Elaine slept at the arches to stay on watch for some reason. And then Egwene comes in over and holds her and comforts her. And I'm done with this episode. Thank God. This is way too long. All right. So keep an eye out for episode 4. That gets released tonight. Um, that's going to be fantastic, said nobody ever. What do you think? What did you guys think of this episode? Did I miss anything? I mean, these things keep on taking longer and longer, and I don't want to have to produce an hour-long one of these by the time the season's over. I fear that. Anyway, again, pray for me. I'll pray for you as we get through this horrible, horrible thing called Rafe's torture device. That's what it's called. Yeah. So we'll catch y'all later. Chagar Navran, Tai Sharman Etherin.